Hello and welcome. This is Jonsbo N10, a 4.5 liters computer case. There is another variant of this case, NV10, which can accept a low-profile GPU. N10 is a media PC and storage case, and this case does not accept a dedicated GPU. Instead, it can house up to 4 SSDs or two 15mm 5TB 2.5-inch hard drives. The reason I have N10 instead of NV10 is because this is what AliExpress sent me in spite of ordering NV10. Since sending back and forth with AliExpress is a hit or miss affair, I decided to keep it and review this instead. Anyway, moving on. Those two 40mm fans concern me because they are usually not quiet. In addition to that, a flex power supply is always loud. But there is a way to make it quiet. We will soon see how. You can pop the top cover. It's toolless, but you do need a Torx driver for the bottom cover. Why did they need to use Torx screws, I don't know. But this is not the first time they've used these. This is the very first time where front header and USB cables are properly short. In some cases, they are ridiculously long for no apparent reason. I would like to note that these 40mm fans are 3 pins. I've rarely found 40mm fans quiet. We will see. While you should be able to adjust the fan speed, I don't see the need for them to be here. Now, let's talk about a flex power supply. You are seeing one right now. To make it quiet, I've swapped the original fan out with a Noctua fan. This is the only way to make the noise bearable. In doing so, however, it leaves an obvious issue. I am going to need to connect it to a fan header. Do this at your own risk, because doing this will void your warranty. I am using i5-12500 CPU here, which has 35 watts TDP. It's essentially i5-12400 CPU with a slightly better iGPU. You don't want to use a power-hungry CPU with this case. 65 watts TDP is the maximum I recommend. This is a really tight fit. The integrated I/O shield is not helping also. I kind of wish that the wooden part wasn't there. I would have loved a bit of more space to work with. The hard drive cage can take 4 regular 2.5-inch hard drives or SSDs. When I say regular, it means 7 mm in thickness. 4 and 5 terabyte 2.5-inch hard drives are 15 mm in thickness. If you wish to use those bigger capacity hard drives, you can install only 2. Okay, remember the two 40 mm fans? They are very loud. I am disconnecting them. Jonsbo really should have used quieter fans. I mean, what would be the point of a loud mini PC on your desk? The PC is relatively quiet. The loudest part is the CPU fan. I can barely hear the flex power supply. That's good. Anyway, with a 35 watts TDP CPU, the temperature is within an acceptable range. With temperature of around 70 degrees Celsius, it looks like even a 65 watt CPU might be pushing the limit. Of course, you can just adjust PL1 value to 35 on any Intel CPU to make it work. The idle power consumption is around 35 watts. At full load, it shoots up to 100 watts initially due to higher PL2 and then climbs back down to 80 watts. Well, do I recommend this case? No, I do not. Half of its space is wasted. There are smaller cases that can perform similarly. Having said that, I can probably recommend NV10 with an ability to install a low-profile dedicated GPU. The first problem I see with this case is torque screws for the bottom cover. They didn't need to use those screws. Secondly, the two included 40 mm fans are very loud by default. You can control the RPM, but with such limited space, I found it extremely hard to route cables, not to mention the fact that ITX motherboards have a limited number of fan headers. Thirdly, it uses a flex power supply. It should use a Pico power supply and make the case smaller. It could be smaller by almost half that way. Having said that, Jonsbo is known for repurposing a case designed to fit various roles. Jonsbo C6 is a very good example of that. I think the same is happening here. They are using the basic design of NV10 for this case with just minor modifications. So, in the end, my verdict on N10 is pass. It's too big for its purpose. If you are going to install two 5 terabyte 2.5-inch hard drives, then perhaps it makes sense. Thank you for watching and see you next time.